If you want to check the status of the charging, you can connect to the EVSE by Wi-Fi. On your phone's settings menu, go to Wi-Fi and search for a device that starts with iFlow. Then enter the original password 123456778. Open up the internet browser and type in the IP address 192.168.4.1 and press enter. Another option is to use the phone's camera and scan the QR code, and that will also bring it up. By the way, if you lose the instructions, the IP address and QR code are also on the back of the EVSE. Now you will see the main page. It will list the current status of the EVSE along with information like energy, state, charging time, voltage, current, power, temperature of the box, and system status. Below that information is where you can change the mode A, which is the amp setting. It allows hold, 24 amps, 32 amps, and 40 amps. Below that is the charge time H, which allows you to set the time period for charging. Options anywhere from 1 to 10, and then off. The gear icon on the top left is where you go to change any settings. Auto start is the first one. If this is turned on, the EVSE will start charging as soon as it's plugged into the car. If it's turned off, it will not charge. So this is a feature to prevent unauthorized charging. Next is history. This will keep track of the gross charging kilowatt hours used by the EVSE while charging the car. This is handy since the car can only account for the net charge and doesn't account for the charging losses of the EVSE. The Clear Energy button will zero out the history. You may want to do this if you record the monthly kilowatt hour usage and start over at the beginning of each month. Change password allows you to put in a new password when needed. For example, I would replace the initial password of 123456778 as soon as you get it. And finally, factory CMD appears to be a password for accessing the factory settings, not used by the user. Here you can see the app showing changes to voltage, current, and power while the car is ramping up charging to 40 amps. You can also stop charging by pressing the button in the app. To change the EVSE settings using the app, you need to place the auto start setting to off. Now you can change the amp setting to 32, for example. Then press start. Notice that the EVSE's LCD screen now shows the new amp setting and it's charging the car. For another example, change the amps to 40 and now change the charge time to 1. Press start and notice the EVSE screen is now showing 40 amps and a 1 on the top of the screen. You can also use the app to see the gross voltage and amp numbers and compare to the net numbers that the car receives. As I mentioned before, having the gross kilowatt hours gives you a much more accurate accounting of how much electricity your car is using.